Jackie Caroon, Reader and Events Development Librarian, and today I'm with authors Marsali Taylor and Eric Davidson. Marsali, can you give our readers a taste of what your Lynch book series is about, so those that haven't had a chance to enjoy your books yet are encouraged to give them a try?
Yes, my books are narrated by Lynch, who is the sea-mad daughter of an Irish oilman and a French opera star. She's 29, she's a hand-to-mouth sailing vagabond living aboard her own small yacht. She's quick-witted, resourceful, and so far she's managed to rescue herself from everything I've thrown at her. Shetland is a watery place. It's a jigsaw piece of green hills set in the middle of the North Sea. Many families there still live in houses that were built by their grandfathers, and yes, everyone knows everyone. So if Cass needs to find out about a suspect, well, her retired fisherman pal Magni will give her their entire life story along with libelous comments. It's a beautiful place. It's got cliffs noisy with seabirds, sun dancing on the water, ditches bright with wildflowers, and bairns do kens. I do lick throwing in words for our distinctive dialect. The scenes of our hectic life were woven into my plots. The Troweymound murders has a big scene at the local agricultural show. For a handful of ash, I had fun describing what country children get up to at Halloween: guising, kale casting, and of course the local party where Cass gets hauled in to judge the costumes and the neepy lanterns. The Body in the Bracken Ends with the first Viking Fire Festival of the year. Ghosts of the Vikings features archaeology and a period house filled with temperamental opera singers. And my goriest novel, Death in Shetland Waters, has Cass aboard a tall ship. But don't think I'm just skylarking, because there are clues aplenty in among the local colour. It's awkward and expensive to get to Shetland, so let my books take you there instead.
That's fantastic. Eric, you are from Aberdeen, and it's always great to have our local authors giving talks to encourage others to give writing a try. Your Inspector Fraser series is set in the early 20th century Aberdeen. Can you also give our readers a taste of your Inspector Fraser series to encourage them to give your books a read?
Yes, my Inspector Fraser takes us back in time. We go back 100 years and more. First reason I chose that was that there's nobody living who can criticise what I write, so I can pretty much get away with things. But I wanted to create an environment in which it was old-fashioned policing. I wanted a character who didn't have the help of some forensic scientist who would come along and solve the crime for him, or any particular technological help either. I wanted it to be good old-fashioned policing where you asked questions, you gathered information, you used that information to solve the crime, and you moved on. So Jake Fraser came out of that desire to write a character who would work in that sort of environment. I set it in 1906 initially because I found a lot going on in Aberdeen that year. It was a good year to pick for backdrop stories. So the first three stories all have a particular happening in Aberdeen that I use as a backdrop, and then on top of that I put the murder and mayhem that I invent myself. Jake has a sidekick, but it's essentially about what Jake does in the books. The sidekick's very much there to take notes and sit and be good half the time rather than actually participate. And I also involve, quite on purpose, a female character, Margaret, who I introduced deliberately because, again, if we go back to 1906, it was all men who did the policing in 1906. Therefore, I found I was in danger of writing a man's book, and I didn't want that. So I invented Margaret, who becomes very important to the development of the series and to Jake himself. And it gave me a chance then to write something that involved a female perspective. I've been criticised by one or two people that Margaret's maybe too independent and too unlike a woman of the 1900s, early 1900s. I don't make any apology for the fact I made her a strong, independent woman because I needed that character for the book. So what I've eventually ended up with is a series of stories with a backdrop all set in Aberdeen, all involving some sort of fiendish crime at some point, but sold purely from the point of view of asking questions, gathering information and making decisions.
That's fantastic. Well, crime authors and crime writers and crime novels are really popular with all our readers in Aberdeenshire. And having read the first of Marsali's and Eric's books, I can thoroughly recommend them. They're definitely page-turners. With numerous copies of Marsali and Eric's titles in our library, so check out our catalogue and reserve a title today, because I can assure you, you won't be disappointed. So look out for our Book Week Scotland that runs from Monday the 18th of November to Saturday the 23rd of November. More fantastic authors' talks coming to Aberdeenshire.